Why did we compare it, to be honest?
Yeah, the comparing thing I never did, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was about beauty and.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought you guys were talking about. Like, no, or smart intelligence.
Yeah.
Like, is my kid better than that other people's kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't understand the comparison thing you guys were talking about before.
Oh yeah, you didn't understand.
Because I said psychopaths.
No, it's funny because I listened to it again. Like, yeah, but I thought we were talking about how pretty your kids were. I was like, no, we're just talking about, do you compare your kids, man?
But you do that.
Nah. No, because
I do.
No,
Yeah, he does it.
Sure,
that
he doesn't.
See, and that's because you brought it up. That's why I thought you were talking about looks and like.
No, but
No.
We're saying we compare in terms of like, oh, is he sleeping as much? That's what
but
we're
isn't
talking
that natural to parents? Like, especially young parents, new parents. You'd be like, okay, if my kid is doing something that I think might possibly be weird or I don't know, let me ask my other friends or people that I know that also have a baby. Is your kid doing this thing? All right, cool. It's not crazy.
But that's actually crazy.
What's crazy?
To even compare it, it doesn't even make any sense. It's
No,
like,
it makes sense.
okay, look, we had this thing with Zizi and her weight. This was the big thing. She's underweight compared to y'all, like to Kaya and fucking Mari.
Well, these are very particular.
But I'm just saying, right? She's underweight, right? And so this became a comparison. Like, okay, but what? How much does she weigh? Okay, how much? Okay, and this week, what was this? You know, we started to go to the doctors. The doctors were like, It set something in motion. Then it wasn't just these guys, it was other friends, babies.
But wouldn't that make sense?
No, because that's like comparing my weight to your weight.
It's like specific to okay, we also talked about sleeping, right? It makes sense, or the colic thing, where you're like, okay, is your baby crying all the time? Because mine was crying all the time. Like, so it makes complete sense that you would compare those things.
Those are the things I was comparing. Like, I was like, hey, you guys sleeping?
Yeah,
It doesn't make sense.
How does that not make sense when
No,
there's in my network?
That's what made sense
Okay,
to me.
for me,
In
it
my
doesn't
network,
make
there are
sense.
people who with babies.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because all it does is try to make the parents feel better about whatever is or isn't happening. But it doesn't actually make sense.
But it's about getting information.
Dude, just because your baby's sleeping has nothing to do with mine.
But didn't you compare it? Weren't you comparing at the time when you asked him? Well, what was the purpose of asking him at the time then?
Well, because I wanted to see if he was going through the same misery I was.
Is that not a comparison?
But, hold on.
You could just make a comparison, bro.
Yeah, which is stupid. I'm saying this is stupid.
But why? No, I think it makes sense.
I'm saying it doesn't make sense.
For example, with the sleeping thing, let's say your kid is sleeping and mine is not. And then you're like, oh yeah, my kid is sleeping. Like, we go to sleep every day at 8 o'clock. I'm like, yeah, but mine isn't. And then I would ask, so what are you doing?
Yeah.
With Kaya's head thing, you know, like, okay, does your kid have this head fungus thing? No. Okay, like, do you know other babies that have had it? What are they doing?
Okay, so,
that makes sense.
And here's where it becomes a problem. And here's where I think this is stupid, is because what worked for Amari
Nothing.
may not work for Kaya.
May not, of course.
And likely, but okay, because there's a differences. There's like, when you're talking about weight, for example, just because Amari is hitting all the weight for every U1, U2, U3, every doctor's appointment, he's on par. And my daughter is not. It's like, me comparing it, I'm going to be like, okay, well, what are you feeding it? Now I'm going to start overfeeding my kid, for example.
Yeah, I can understand
or other
weight,
things
though.
that start happening.
But that's semantical, because if you're going to say comparisons of this type of nature are unwarranted at all, and they're stupid, but then you're comparing whether you feed your kids vitamins or not, whether you're getting vaccines or not. Like, you're comparing literally everything that at some point all babies are supposed to have.
What?
All babies are supposed to
have what?
Certain things.
Like what?
Vitamins, not vaccines. Nigga. Don't get them. They're about to go postal. Nigga, you trying to get about to go crazy. This nigga looked at, say it. I motherfucking dare you to say my baby are supposed to have a vaccine.
But
Like, bro, chill out, man. Shit. What?
What?
Damn, bro.
I would say if she's had some injections, she's probably already had a few vaccines.
Well, she had to get vaccines already.
Oh, you mean she had to get vaccines? See, all babies are supposed to get these vaccines.
Look, man.
For health, for all of these
Actually, we're not on vaccines ready, but vaccines are not mandatory.
in this country,
They're not mandatory.
But when they go to school, they are, aren't
Nope. Only measles.
Really?
The
So you
only
don't have to
vaccine-
get like chicken pox? All
No,
these.
they're not
So
mandatory.
all these kids running around with hepatitis.
They can be. A lot of people,
Good to know.
a
You're
lot of
supposed to
people.
get all these hepatitis vaccines.
No, you're recommended, but they're not mandatory.
Okay, either way, the point is, man, comparison, though, like it makes sense to compare certain things.
Certain.
So then it breaks down your argument because certain
No.
things make sense to compare.
No, I think comparison's ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I can say to that.
Yeah, I just think it's ridiculous.
It's your thing.
So
It's my
so
thing.
you don't ever want to you don't want to compare ever.
I just think that like if there's an issue with my daughter, then I need to figure out what the issue with my daughter is. You know what I'm saying?
doesn't mean it's
I think the funny thing
I
is.
just sorry. Here's what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is I find comparison is about the parent. It's not really about the child. So if I think my daughter is underweight and it's it's unhealthy, for example, there's a problem with it, and I find out that your son is underweight, then that makes me feel better. But that doesn't help my kid. It just makes me feel better. Or vice versa. My kid's not sleeping, and I find out that your kid's not sleeping. It just makes me feel better. And this is why I think comparison is ridiculous. Because it doesn't solve any real problem. Most of the time, it just makes the parent feel better in their miserable state or feel better about the goodness that's happening.
So it could.
Do you agree with this comparison?
No, 'cause I'll say,
Yeah,
You don't have to
sometimes
agree with it.
I know,
there-
what
I
are
think
your
there
thoughts?
there are certain things that you probably shouldn't compare. Like I think it's like is
I
your
think, like,
baby-
intelligence,
is your
when they're
baby
good
doing
looking.
these activities and
Yeah,
stuff,
I
'cause,
just
every
kind of-
baby takes it up. But I think,
I think even progress.
for the sleeping stuff, I think that was more. It's just good to understand like how others are. I think when you're all on the same journey or similar journeys, you kind of want to just understand, how are you doing on this journey, right?
I understand why
so,
people do
yeah.
it, is what I'm saying. I understand it. I just think it's ridiculous. Like anytime I ask somebody, what are you guys doing? There's a moment after where I'm like, why am I doing this? Because I have my daughter particularly who has her, idiosyncrasies or whatever she's doing, and I have to deal with her. And it doesn't really matter what Amari's doing. Like
But
really.
it could, for instance, like
you know?
there are certain things. So as you mentioned, right? Like so, if a baby, for instance, has like eczema or something, you could say, "Oh, does your baby have eczema? Yes." Or do you know someone they use this cream? Okay, maybe we should use this cream. That's how you can have these, let's say these understand where someone is on their journey, and then from there maybe they can give you some other information to help you. So I think sometimes it's probably good to have those conversations because it might open up some extra doors. Could be.
His mind is made up, man. Let's move on to the next topic, bro.
Shout out to Sweet Pea.
To be fair, I think we actually ended up.
Thank you for tuning in to Wolfgang. If you like the podcast, please check us out on our YouTube channel or any of your favorite audio platforms. Likes or subscribes are always welcome. The Wolfgang Dads will be back this Monday and every Monday after that, so stay tuned.